Good evening. All right, it's Sunday, the 14th of January 2018. Welcome to a nighttime United Kingdom talk. Chris Reardon with you for a little while, having our usual chit chat, and I was outraged last night. Absolutely outraged last night. So last night, I was doing a little bit of DJing and comparing, as I do every Saturday night, at a place in King's Cross Central Station, where I also do the karaoke on Mondays and Fridays there from sort of around about 8:30. You've seen the live streams. Oh, by the way, did you notice how dramatically improved the live streams are now from Central Station? Has anyone noticed that? Eh? We got good quality sound, good picture, because I actually take in a separate camera. We don't use the phone anymore. Don't use an iPhone anymore. We use a proper little mini webcam thing. Have I got? Actually, I might have one of them in here. Have I got one of them in here? Yeah, I have. 1 minute. I'll show you what I use. Yeah, look. 1 minute. There it is. There's one here. There's one here. There's one here attached to an arm. It's attached to an arm. There you are. I use one of those. That's how you watch the karaoke. One of those. They're not actually that dear. You can get them second-hand webcams, good quality webcams, and this is like the higher end for about 30 quid on eBay. People don't, for whatever reason, they just don't want them anymore. 30 quid, perfectly all right, nothing wrong with it. It'll either work or it won't. Simple as that. And you have any problems with eBay, you just send them a message and they sort it out, and they usually give you your money back and grab it out of the other person who sold you the dodgy item. I've never had a problem with eBay. So that's how you watch that now, and the sound now goes through another little device which plugs in to a laptop, and it's all so much better anyway. So that's where I usually do the karaoke, and you can watch that tomorrow night around about 8 o'clock here on Facebook Live. So last night it was someone's birthday party. Kelly Wilde, who is also runs an agency. In fact, my work at Central Station comes from her. I mean, every week I have to send Kelly 50 quid. Honestly, that's because that's the agreement, you see. She got me in there. If I'd have gone there myself, there wouldn't have been any charge at all. 50 quid a week I have to send her. How much is that a year? Just a moment. So that's 50 times 52. So we'll do 50 times 10 is 500, isn't it? So 50 times 52 is about £27,000, isn't it? It's about £27,000. 50 times 52, don't you reckon? About £27,000 a year I have to send her just to do my karaoke. It's an outrage, dear. But that's the agreement. Anyway, so it was her birthday party last night. She's a wonderful person. She really is. I've known her for years and years and years. Ever since I started DJing at places like the Black Cap in North London. And it was her birthday last night, so she came along and did a show, and I worked the sound and lights, and it was a great night, as I say. And finished there, came home, and I've pulled round the corner. I nearly died. Someone has parked in front of my garage. Not just in front of my garage, but actually in the road, the little bit of drive directly in front of it, like probably not across it. You know, so I'll draw a diagram for you. 1 moment, please. Let me just get a bit of paper here. 1 minute. Let's get a bit of paper. Thanks for your messages. I'll read those in a minute, my darlings, okay? So, there we are. Do that like that. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they're the garages. Is that making sense? Here is my garage, okay? Me. So there's another garage, another garage, another garage, another garage. This little bit here is the kind of mini bit of driveway between the road, mini bit of driveway, garages. And when I say mini bit of driveway, that is about the length of one car going that way, okay? That's about the length of one car. There's the road, okay? At the end is a dead end, so you've got to come in this way. That's the only way in. Here is another, like, mini driveway, although these mini driveways are only about half the size of these mini driveways. Are you following so far? Good. And there's some more garages there. So, in fact, I've almost got 2 parking spaces. I've got the garage, and the bit of driveway in front where you can park a whole car. But nevertheless, that is mine. That is my bit. The only way into the garage is going over the sort of mini bit of driveway. Okay? Someone has parked there. A little blue Honda thing. Not even a nice car. I mean, I wouldn't have minded if it was a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or something posh like that. A Honda in my driveway when I've got my spaceship, so I've come round the corner, can't get in the garage. Anyway, I've got out my car. I felt the bonnet stone cold, so it'd been there for some time. And this happened to me once, years and years and years ago, when I had a flat in Wandsworth in southwest London. And on that occasion, I managed, the handbrake obviously wasn't very good, and I literally pushed the car out into the road and left it there so I could get into my garage. Because someone had parked in front of the garage there. Anyway, so I give it a little push. No, this thing ain't budging. This car is not budging. And I thought, oh, God, what can I do? It's about 2 o'clock in the morning now. If it was daytime, I simply would have beeped my hooter. Beep, 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 like that. But it wasn't. It was 2 in the morning. You know, you don't want to be waking up all your neighbours, do you really? Not really. My mate probably would have done that. But I can't do something like that. So I thought, bite the bullet, just go and park somewhere. So I went down the road and parked somewhere, and I came in. And I could feel myself, and not much winds me up, to be honest. It doesn't. When I see a little problem, I just walk away. I can't be bothered with people, usually. There's a lot of stupid people in this world. I'm sure you've come across many of them yourself. There's one sitting here in front of you tonight. But not a lot bothers me, so I came in, I thought, oh, well, I'll just go to bed. And it was time for dinner, so I was doing my dinner. That's what time I usually have dinner, about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I felt myself, I was quite hot, and I thought, why am I so hot? And I thought, I'm angry. I thought, no, I'm going to do something about this. So I rung the police non-emergency number, which I think it's 111 or 101, something like that, not 999. You don't ring 999 unless you've got a serious emergency. You speak to ambulance drivers and people like that, idiots who ring 999 for non-emergencies, putting other lives and things at risk. And the police have got a lot to do. You know, you don't ring 999 unless you've got a total emergency. So I rung this non-emergency number, I think 111. I've got through to a very nice lady eventually. I don't know if she was an operator or an actual police lady. Police WPC, I don't know. Doesn't matter. She was very nice on the phone. So I told her the situation. She says, okay. She says, well, there's not a lot we can do. She says, have you got the registration number? So I gave that to her. And she said, I'll see if I can find a phone number for them and ring them and tell them that they've got to move the car. She said, but there's a good chance that there won't be any phone number. I said, okay. Are you allowed to tell me where the car is registered? She says, I'm afraid not. I can tell you what area it's in, but that's all. So she came back to me. She said, okay, well, the car is registered in Bracknell, but she can't tell me the road or the house number or anything like that. Okay, fair enough. She said, I'll come back to you. Okay, so she puts the phone down. And then she rings back a little bit later. She says, I'm really sorry, there's no phone number, no way of contacting them. She says, as it's not causing an obstruction on the road or anything, there's nothing else we do now. She said, you need to ring the council who will take charge of the situation from there, if it's still there on Monday. So remember, this is Saturday night going into Sunday morning now. What do I do Sunday? Tough luck, I suppose. So they couldn't really help, although she did what she could do. Anyway, I put down the phone on her. I thought, I'll just have one more look outside. So I've gone back outside. The car's gone. So my guess is they saw me. They must have seen me out of a window pulling up. And I put a note on the screen. Please do not park here. Private garage. You know, I stuck that onto the screen. Not with super glue or anything like that. I know some of you would have done that. I know some of you would have put a sign on the window with super glue. But it really doesn't help the situation, you know. They'd come out, just a couple of bits of tape on there to hold the bit of paper on. They'd and the car had gone. They hadn't screwed up the paper and chucked it on the floor in front of the garage or anything like that. But they must have seen me walking. If they've seen the car coming round, they must have seen me walking back to my house. Why couldn't they have knocked on the door and said, I was sorry, I've moved the car now, it won't happen again, or something. And that would have been fine. End of. Now we've got a car going, so I walked up, I got back in my car and went into my garage, locked the door. I had a little look around. I couldn't see the car anywhere else, so it might have been a visitor, I suppose. And I came back in the house feeling a little bit more pleased with myself. But it's just something I wouldn't consider doing. Parking in front of someone's garage, especially when there's other car parking spaces, you know, along the pavement that were available. Why would you do that? People are so bloody lazy. They won't even walk round, you know, because it's more than 2 feet to walk. You know those people, don't you? Huh? The ones that go around and around in the supermarket car park, desperately trying to find the space that is as close as possible to the supermarket door so that they don't have to walk and lose some more of that fat that they've obtained because they don't want to walk anywhere. I just wouldn't consider doing something like that. It is so inconsiderate. Anyway, I went to bed and now it's late now. And, you know, I go to church on Sunday mornings and I thought, oh, you know, it's now like, I'm not even going to get 4 hours sleep. I won't set the alarm. I'll go to a later mass at church, I thought to myself. Anyway, so I got to bed. And then, of course, I couldn't sleep then because I was a bit annoyed, really. I was a bit annoyed. So I'm quite hot in the bed as well. I don't know why, because it wasn't that hot last night. I was hot in the bed, a little bit agitated. And I think I probably passed out a few times. And that's it, really. Funnily enough, I woke up, as I always seem to do, Sunday morning, before the alarm goes off at 7:20. So I got to sleep about 3:30. I was up again at 7:20. And that was my Saturday night. But I just don't understand someone who would just park in front of someone's garage, knowing full well that you can't get in or out. Today, I've actually been looking at websites. I told my neighbour and he said it happened to him once. He couldn't go to work one day. Someone had parked in front of his garage and he couldn't find out where the people were. Couldn't even go to work. So I've looked online. You can actually have installed a post. You can buy a post for about 50 quid. That's all, 50 quid. And do it yourself. It's not really something I'd like to tackle. You know what I'm like with a DIY. It's not good. All this stuff is DIY, incidentally, in here. All DIY. No one's come in and installed a studio set or anything. This is all me with my staple gun, one of my favourite devices. Staple gun. Have you got one of those? Did you have one at school? Did you fire it at other children at school? I bet you did, didn't you? I love a staple gun. But I don't think I'd want to install a parking post myself, so I found a couple of companies who do it. Now, my guess it would be around about 150, no, not 1,500, about 150, 200 quid to have something like that put in. And it's, you know, it comes up and it goes down, or you can have one that pulls out, whatever you want. And they come and install it, and that's it. And then in future, no one can park there. So I'm considering that. On the other hand, I've been here 26 years, and it's only happened 2 other times. So, do you know? But it's that total and utter inconvenience when one day I might come out and someone's parked there again. Of course, the answer another answer would be to leave your car on the front. That most people don't even use the blooming garage. You know, if I didn't use the garage and left the car out the front, no one could park there. But I like to put the car away. My dad was the same. My dad always used to put the car in the garage. Funny, isn't it, really? When I was a kid, I could never understand that because not many people used their garages where we lived in Roehampton. This is back in the 70s and 80s. They'd just park on the road. And I said, why do you put the car in the garage? Oh, that's what I like to do, son. My dad would say. Jerry, his name was. That's what I like to do, son. And he parked his car in the garage. And it was a bit of a walk from the garage to our flat in Roehampton. Why can't Dad just leave the car outside? Then we don't have to walk to the garage. That's what I thought as a child. But he didn't, and I think that's where I get it from. I like to put the car away. Also, you know, if you get any frost or anything like that, you know, when you go out in first thing in the morning and the window screen is covered in frost or something like that, I don't get any of that. Once it's in the garage, you don't get the frost. And it is, of course, slightly warm. Is it freezing cold outside? It is slightly warmer in the garage. Of course it is. And also in the summer when it's really baking hot outside, you know, oh, that's awful. That's just as bad, isn't it? You know, you open that car door and you get inside. Oh, my God, it's like an oven, isn't it? I felt like a turkey. I know I look like one now. What with my weight loss and my neck hanging down. Do you know what my cousin said to me the other day? Judge Headland. She said, your neck is looking a bit scraggly. Is it? Do I need to do my top button up so you can't see it anymore like that? I could be like a priest. Be like a priest, couldn't I? Something like that. Anyway, so that's the story last night. Most annoying. It may have happened to one or two of you before as well. I don't know. Let's say hello to some people who are with us today. Scrolling down. Who gets the first message today? Let's have a look. Shania. Good morning, Shania. Good evening, Shania. Ooh, let's just... am I going the wrong way here? No, I'm not. Sorry. Hello to Shania. She gets the first message on the show today. Hello to Sufyan. Greetings, Sufyan has recently become my friend on Facebook. Good to have you along, sir. I think you're the one who's just split up with your girlfriend, haven't you? So commiserations to you there. But move on, sir. Move on. There will be someone else for you. There's no one else for me, I'm afraid, but I'm sure there's someone else for you. Hello to Norma, Andy Baker. Lee is watching us from Gorgeous FM. Well, you should be paying full attention to your radio show rather than watching. I hope I'm not being dual streamed without my permission. Are you dual streaming me? Am I replacing your programme on Gorgeous FM? I don't know if they'd rather me or Kylie Minogue blasting out their speakers. One of the two. Hello to Tarfik. These are all on Facebook Live this morning. Jennifer's there. Hello, Jennifer. Nice to see you. You've been a little bit quiet recently. Hello to David Mallam, who's a big religious person. Greetings, David. Hope you're well. Matt Martins is in Winnipeg, Canada. No doubt watching him with his wife and his little boy, Jacob. Jacob, I think it is Jacob. Hello to Simon Keane, who's with us live today. Hello, Simon. You're not usually with us live, are you? Welcome to you, sir. Rosemary Dixon's there. Hello. Oh, she's not... Oh, pneumonia. Oh, my word, Rosemary. That's Rosemary, that's terrible. Although I notice in America, they almost treat pneumonia as like a bad case of the flu or a bad cold or something like. Here in the UK, we kind of consider pneumonia as one of the worst things that you can possibly get, and it's very, very serious. When people talk about it in America, it's more of a sort of thing that people just generally get. I don't think I've ever had that. Pneumonia, not the thing to have. Not the thing to have. In New Hampshire. Thank you, New Hampshire, yes. Hello to Tom Harris. Hello, Tom. Long time no see, Tom. Welcome to the show. Hello to Mohammed. All right, Mohammed. Hope you're well as well. Let's have a look there. Andy Baker, a 360 webcam would be good, Chris, one day. No, don't like them. Don't like them. All that mucking around with the screen and all that. I bet you'd do it a couple of times. You'd have a quick look around the studio and you'd never do it again. I don't think it would be a good thing, a 360 cam, really. They look very strange as well, like a fisheye, don't they? When I've seen Click on BBC. You know, Click, the technology programme on BBC News. What's it called? The BBC News channel. I've seen them on there before, and it's just like a fisheye type. It's weird. I'm not keen on the 360 degrees webcams, my friend, all right? Jennifer says block them in. Oh, believe me, I would have done, but there isn't the space. If I was to stop in front of them, that blocks the main road and no one would be able to get in and out of the other 10 garages. You see, even though it annoyed me, I didn't want to, I don't want to upset other people by blocking them in. I'm considerate. I will always think about other people, leaving enough gap, or certainly even cyclists. Cyclists on the road, I give them as much space as possible. I like to consider myself a considerate driver. Hello to Jerry. Welcome to the show, Jerry. Evans there. Greetings, Evans. In sunny Cornwall. Mike Mike said, hello, Mike. Mike Harniman, welcome to the show, sir. Danny Gibbs, hello, Danny Gibbs, who's going to be 40 soon. And yet looks so much older, don't you, Danny? Danny, can I take it back about 12 years? What were we doing at this time on a Sunday night 12 years ago, eh? Or actually, probably maybe a bit earlier this time. Maybe in about 3 years' time, we would go and see Mrs. Melted in Waterloo, wouldn't we? After our little outing. Oh, I miss those days. I do, Danny. Danny was a very good friend of mine. Let's have a look here. Tom Harris, it was probably someone on a booty call. Quite possibly, Tom. Sadly, not to my house. Oh, Adam the plumber will do this. Oh, will you? Is that something you can do, Adam? I think you have to drill into, because it's a concrete base, isn't it? It's a concrete floor. So you would have to drill into that, I think, and then put it through somehow. They do a drop-down one, or they do a put-in-the-hole one. I think I'd like the put-in-the-hole one done. So that would require a bit of drilling and digging done. It might be best left to them to install it, Adam. I don't know, my friend. Danny Gibbs is a big fan of gun staplers. Oh, I love it. I've got. Would you like to see my gun stapler? One moment, please. This is one of my favourite gadgets. One moment, please. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, here it is. What a wonderful weapon this is. My gun stapler. Yes. When members of the Labour Party knock at my door during elections, I appeal. Can I help you? Can I help you? Go away. It's amazing the people that knock at your door trying to sell you double glazing when you've already got it. Isn't it? And I like to point it out. Fire. Bang, bang. Shall we give a demonstration of the gun stapler? Where would you like it? Let's put one here. Ready? Oh, I love it. I get so much satisfaction out of sticking one of those in the wall, don't you? Danny's been sticking up his church posters this morning. Oh, I've got a story about church as well coming up later. Good. Mike says my granddad was the same. The garage was about a 10-minute walk from the house, but he'd always insist on parking there for peace of mind. Correct, Mark, as indeed ours was. I would say it was more like a 15-minute walk from the house, actually. All sorts of weather. Didn't matter if it was raining. My dad would park his car in the garage, which was on another part of the estate, and walk back. In later times, as I got older in my 20s, Dad let me use the garage to store my disco equipment in. Which, of course, I don't think I'd do it today like that. I don't have disco equipment anymore because most of my stuff is in places that have their own equipment. But when I had all speakers and lights and all that business, I used to store that in my dad's garage in Roehampton. So it's a bit mad, really, and I didn't have any extra locks, and they were wooden doors. They were wooden doors that open like that, proper wooden doors. You could get in ever so easily. But I don't know, that sort of stuff didn't really happen in the 80s. Not many people sort of broke into garages at that time, did they? Good evening to my very close friend, Ray Reynolds. Good evening, Ray. You'll see him tomorrow night on the karaoke stream at about 8 o'clock here on Facebook Live, okay, or YouTube Live as well if you want to watch on there. Matt says Heather and Jacob are sending their love as well. See, you didn't need to tell me your son's name. I remember Jacob. Welcome to Indigo. Do you know David Icke? No, I don't, but I remember him on Grandstand. He was a wonderful, wonderful presenter on Grandstand, wasn't he? David Icke. He does all conspiracy things and all that now. I quite like him. Yeah, he's a nice chap. Let's have a look there. Greetings to Cordy, who's not used to seeing us in the evening. Yes, that's true. I'm not usually here at night, as you well know. Sometimes we do a Tuesday night show. I don't know if you've seen any of our Tuesday night shows when my mate comes around and we play games. I've bought some more games. and they're on the floor. I'm going to show you to those in a minute, what we've got there. Hello to Paul Dale. Can we see the dust? There's a lot of dust in here, Paul, as you well know. There's probably dust on this. Is there dust on here? oh, blimey. So much dust. Paul, you don't need to be eating dust. Got to tell you, Paul's lost a load of weight. He's been on the Slimming World as well. A lot of people doing the Slimming World because you know it works. I lost 2 stone. Wendy has lost 3 stone. Regular. I haven't seen her for a while on here, actually. Wendy's lost 3 stone in weight now, which is 10% of her 10% of her body mass, which is fantastic. Mrs. Melted. We miss Mrs. Melted. I hope she's still alive. I do. We should pop down there at some point and see if she's still there. Hello to Tony Power, who was at the party we were talking about earlier there. Hello, Tony. He writes songs for the Eurovision Song Contest. He's got a couple of fantastic songs, actually, at the moment. As sung by Diana. Diana, isn't it? Is it Diana? Half of Heart and Soul. I think it's Diane. That's it, Diane. Hello to Chris Krebin. Welcome to the show, Chris. I think you're first time here today, so welcome to the show. Simon Gilman said, did you and Ronnie have a good day out having tea on a boat? A wonderful time, Simon. There is a video. I've now put together a video. All I've got to do is narrate over the top of it, and then I'll stick it up on Facebook, okay, and YouTube as well. Join us either on Facebook or YouTube. My Facebook is facebook.com/Chris Reardon UK, and YouTube is the same, youtube.com/Chris Reardon UK. So Paul, of course, says you are never really hungry on the Slimmers World diet. That is absolutely true. You are not hungry on the Slimmers World diet. I promise you. I really promise you that. Let's have a look there. Cordy says Mousetrap again. You should try Monopoly, but Ronnie would cheat. I've got Mousetrap. I've got Mousetrap. Matt writes to Her Majesty, the Queen, who's behind me there. Do you really? Does she ever reply? I think her office replies to all things, doesn't she? Yeah. Anyway, so these are the new games I've bought. And then I'll tell you a little bit about church. Oh, there was commotion in church today. Oh, I'll tell you about that in a minute. 1 minute. Let's put that up there. Stick that out of the way. I like to put my things away, otherwise they're all faced. Right. So here are the games that I've bought, which you'll see myself, hopefully, and Ronnie playing with in a few weeks' time. First of all, it's Operation! If, boys and girls, you've always looked at people in the street and thinking, do you know what? I'd like to have a closer look at your heart. Or, oh, did you hear that story, incidentally, about that doctor? I don't think he's been put in prison. He's got one of those things where, what's it called now? Where if you've done something wrong, you've got to not do anything wrong for a year. Is it a conditional discharge? Something like that. Can't remember. Anyway, apparently this doctor who was working on people's livers burnt his initials into their livers. I wonder how they found that out. Maybe it was as one of them died and it was like an autopsy. You know, when they take your body apart to find out why you're dead. Was it something like that? Honestly, this doctor, I think it was somewhere here in the UK, when he was operating on people, burnt his initials into their livers. I don't know what they're complaining about. Almost like a guarantee, you know. Oh, so who did this? Let's have a quick look. Oh, it's CR. Chris Reardon did this operation. We'll get back to him and see if there's any guarantees still available. What a strange thing to do. Why would you want to burn your initials into someone's liver? Years later, you could open them up, you know, when they're dead and say, yeah, that was my work. Look at that. Perhaps he's trying to get more work out of it. You don't know, do you? Yeah, that was definitely my initials. Oh, that's very good work. Would you like another job? You know, something like that. Well, you don't have to do real operations now because you can play the game. This game's been around for years. Operation. Oh, very clever. Tony says they should have told him to live her alone. Very, very clever, Tony. I'll do the funnies if you don't mind. I'll do the funnies. Mike heard about this on Friday night. There we are. The liver incident. That's what it is. The liver incident. Right, so we got this one. Mike likes this. Mike likes. Oh, Matt always gets a reply from Her Majesty. Yes, well, you don't know. She might be writing out the letters herself. She must get very bored in the palace. Her Royal Highness, must get very bored. So this has been around for a year, and you put batteries in it, and you've got these tweezers, and you have to remove organs without touching the sides. I can't remember the last time someone touched my sides, I must say. But yes, you've got to remove the organs without touching the sides. If you touch the sides, a buzzer goes off. And then you lose a turn or something like that. So that's operation we've got. We've got this very, very simple game. I can't even remember how to play this. Ludo. Anyone remember that? Ludo. Oh, it's in foreign as well, look. Klinko, no, it's in, look, that looks like Russian to me. Is it Russian? Oh, excuse me. It's Disney Ludo. Minnie Mouse Ludo. So we'll have to work out how to play that. Oh, I'm so sorry. We've got some people on Periscope as well watching and on YouTube. Hello to Gadgets and Games. Jerry. Hello, Jerry, who didn't get a notification. Don't know why that was, mate. Don't know why. Just one of those things. Mike's never played it. Have you not? Rosemary always sets the red nose off. Well, it could be called Rudolph. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. Raymond wants to know, is this really live? Well, have a look at the clock. Check out the time in the UK. If that is the time and date where it is now, and there is a little red live flashing in the corner of your Facebook, then we are indeed live. If it's another time that isn't the time at the moment in the UK, you're watching the recording, which stays up later. Glad to be of assistance. Thank you very much. Now, what else have we got? Here's one that a lot of you told me to purchase when I said, if you've got any suggestions of... Oh, you'll be able to call in a minute, boys and girls. OK, we'll open the phone line. There we are. Let's open it now, actually. Oh, it is open. OK, I'll just put the number up there. There's the phone number. You'll notice the phone number's switched across to another side now, OK? Because we kind of run out of room there, so I've switched it over to the other side. There's the phone number over there. Local London number if you want to call in, 0208144 3477. Local London number. Or you can Skype. If you've got Skype, you can Skype in on United Kingdom Talk. All one word. So once again, phone number, 0208144 3477. Local London number. Or Skype in on United Kingdom Talk. Raymond should have gone to Specsavers. Well, I don't know about that. I buy my glasses off the internet now, Raymond. Yeah, what I do, and I've said this a couple of times before, here's a pair here. There's a pair here, right? I go into the supermarket, and generally most supermarkets, I know Waitrose have got them, Sainsbury's have got them. I've seen them in Lidl as, no, not Lidl, I've seen them in Aldi as well. And they're dirt cheap in Aldi. They're like £1.99, these glasses. And you've got the rack in front of you, and there'll be a little sign, not a sign, like a text, some text in front of you at varying different sizes. And there's a rack of glasses, different numbers, 0.5, 1.0, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, okay? So start in the middle, start with about 1.5. You pick up the glasses with 1.5. There'll be a little label on there, 1.5, and you put them on. And you stand back from this little bit of paper with text on it, and you look at it. Can you read it? Is it blurred? Oh no, that's blurred at the distance that you want to be reading it, incidentally. This only works for reading glasses, incidentally, not for driving glasses. Driving glasses, you've got to go and get your eyes tested and all that business. Right? So if they're blurred, no, you put those down. You pick up another pair. Put those on. Ah, and suddenly the writing bursts into life in front of you. You take a note. You don't buy them in there. Don't buy them in there. Okay, depending on where you are, actually the ones in Aldi I think about £2. So you can buy them in Aldi. If you go into Waitrose or Sainsbury's, you're looking at about 15, 20 quid, which is still much cheaper than they would be in Specsavers or Dolland and Aitchington or Boots or somewhere like that. Okay? You take a note of the number on there, say 1.50, you come home. You go onto Amazon and type in reading glasses 1.50. You will get a whole list of them. Generally, you'll get 4 pairs for 10 quid. I kid you not. I've got 8 pairs in here now, dotted all around, and I still lose them. I still lose them. No need to be spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on glasses. Ray Reynolds has got glasses that cost him 400 quid. 400 quid. £10 for 4 pairs on Amazon, and they're fantastic. Look at this. This isn't too bad. Okay, so here is the game that a lot of people were... Oh, Mike says I've got the reactor light glasses. They were 400 quid for glasses. Blimey. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Dear, dear me. Right. So here's a game a lot of people were telling me to buy. Pie Face. Now, I must admit, I don't know this game. I really don't know this game. I haven't really read it yet, but I am assuming you get a load of cream or something in your face. So that's Pie Face. Okay, so we've got that to play. And finally, the one that I never had when I was a child. Didn't even really ask for it either. Buckaroo. Oh, yeah. And all these games, there's nothing here that was more than about 15 quid. And they are such good value board games. And I'll be honest, you know, when my mate comes around now on a Tuesday, we have much more fun playing one of these, usually with the camera going as well. So we do it as a live show as well. I have much more fun playing these than sitting there and watching the telly and doing nothing else. So highly recommended. I've got all these from a shop called Mr. Entertainer. Of course, you'll get them from Toys R Us. Do you mind if I just blow my nose? That's better. Mr. Entertainer, somewhere like that. £10 to £15 per game. Some of them are even cheaper than that. And you can spend, you know, an hour or two just mucking around, and it's great fun. So they'll be coming up in our nighttime shows very soon. All right. Now, someone just said, sure saw Mousetrap. Gadgets and Games says buy Mousetrap. We've already done that one, mate. Already done the Mousetrap game. My God, it took about 10 days to set the damn thing up. How long does that take to set up Mousetrap? The box is much smaller than it used to be. It all kind of folds out now. They've quartered the box instead of halved it. They did the same with Monopoly. If you look at the little Monopoly boxes, they're half the size they used to be. Because instead of just folding over the board in half, they now fold it that way and that way. So it's like a quarter. And it all folds out in the same sort of size that it used to be. There's all different Monopolies now, though, isn't there? I noticed that. If you were watching a show just before Christmas, you would have seen I've got a Wizard of Oz Monopoly that I bought in New York. Oh, gosh, when would that be? 1996, and it's still in its cellophane. I never opened it. Worth about 80 quid now. It's never going to be worth like thousands and thousands of pounds, but it's a nice thing to have. You don't always have to buy things to use them. It's just nice to have like a knick-knack, you know, like ornaments on shelves and things like that. Have you got many ornaments? Collecting dust as they do. How many times do you move your ornaments and remove the dust, only to have them put back again and have to do it all again in a few months' time? Ornaments. It's just like having an ornament. It's, you know, nice thing to have, isn't it? And there's a quite a modern Monopoly where there's no money involved. It comes with like a little like calculator type device and credit cards, and you put the credit cards in and remove or add money to it. They do Junior Monopoly. I've seen Despicable Monopoly. I've seen Harry Potter Monopoly. All different ones. I bought the original one, so that was quite nice. Well done. Tony says you don't want to make a spectacle of yourself. Oh, very, very good, Tony. Are you going to come out with all the Tony Blackburn jokes today, are you, Tony? Because you are another Tony. All proper games, Mike. That's right. Pie Face is brilliant. So much fun. Never played it. So I'm looking forward to playing Pie Face. Really am. So this morning, as I say, didn't sleep too well last night because of this bloke parking across my my thing. I am considering having a parking post, though. If it happens again, I might even do it anyway. You know, I might even do it anyway. I could probably do that as a tax-deductible item, couldn't I? Because I use the car for work. Yeah, I could probably do that as a tax-deductible. If you're self-employed, you're always looking, if it's possible, to do things as a tax-deductible thing. Nothing illegal about that. You know, anything that's to do with your job would be tax-deductible, like what I'm doing now. All this stuff here is used for my job, so it's tax deductible. When you're self-employed, you always do things that are tax deductible. Talking of tax things, incidentally, in my music and chat show tomorrow morning, which I just I've recorded that late this week. Blimey, usually I'll do that on a Saturday morning. My music and chat show is Monday mornings at 10 o'clock on uploadradio.com. And I record that usually on a Saturday morning. I did it this afternoon. Actually, I'm lucky that they've accepted it. Usually, you've got to get it in 24 hours before it's due out, and it was like 22 hours before it was due out. And in my show tomorrow, I do talk about tax things. I do talk a little bit about tax things. And also this story I'm going to tell you now. So that's tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, uploadradio.com. Usually I do try and fit in a little chat show before that. So round about, and it's early tomorrow, sort of round about 9:15 in the morning, we have a chat show and we go straight into the music and chat show at 10 o'clock in the morning on Upload Radio. But this morning at church, so I've jumped on my bike. I got up this morning. I didn't think I was going to wake up, but I just woke up 7:20, as I always seem to do automatically on a Sunday. Had my breakfast and put my nose out the door. Oh, it was cold this morning. Oh, but I've got this beautiful orange coat. I'll bring it up to the studio one day and show you. Timberland coat that I bought 4 years ago when I was in Florida with my nephew. I went with Florida with my nephew, who was 17 at the time. He's 21 this year. In March, he's got this big party planned in where he lives, which we're all looking forward to. And I bought a Timberland. It's like an orangey, rusty colour thing. And let me tell you, it's not that thick. It doesn't look. It's not like a padded thing. But let me tell you, once that's on, the wind does not get through that. It doesn't. It's very, very warm and it's long. You know, it goes way below your arse, sort of halfway up your leg. It's as long as that. And so I put that on. I put my little woolen hat. I've got a Union Jack hat with a bobble on the top there. I've got a reflecting jacket, bright yellow gloves, and jumped on my bike and cycled down to the church. And so the bell went. Vivian was sitting there. I did tell Vivian I wasn't going this week because I was going to go to my old church this week because something's going on there. And a lot of the people have stopped going. So I want to see what's going on down at my old church, really. I'm going to go next week. I was supposed to go with my friend Jean this week, but she's got a bit of a cold, as indeed so many people seem to have at the moment, don't they? How many of you have got colds? Poor old, was it Rosemary? She's got pneumonia at the moment. Poor Rosemary. Hope I can get you to forget the pneumonia for a little while, my darling. I do hope so. Oh, Andy says, I think you've been spied upon from Absolute Radio. They started playing Connect 4 live on air the other day. How very... well, that's the thing, Andy, you see. I am a leader. I am a leader. I absolutely am a leader. They don't admit it, but I think all these stars and celebrities probably watch this show to have ideas for their own show. I am convinced about that. They don't say anything, but I think that's the case, yes. Apparently there's an Isle of Wight Monopoly. Is there really, Shania? Oh, I think I might look for that, Isle of Wight Monopoly. Isle of Wight Monopoly. Is that where all the houses are less than 80 quid? Are some of them sinking? I saw your dad this morning on the internet. He don't look well. Blimey, he's got a nasty cold as well, hasn't he, your dad? I did feel sorry for him. Please send him my best wishes. You know, if you want me to take over, I'll fly over and take over the show for a couple of days until he's got better. All right. Jennifer says, I couldn't get up Disney to see you. I know, Jennifer. I know. We were so busy for those 2 weeks. We really were. I've got Disney news coming up on the show. Disney news is coming up on the show today, actually. So stand by for that. It's a bit of a long one tonight, okay? We're not going to restrict ourselves to the half-hour morning shows. When the morning shows now, I do try and restrict myself to half an hour because, it just eats into your day. And besides, I think after half an hour, you've had enough of me, haven't you? It's a little bit... Have you got any friends like that? After a while, you think, oh, please go away. Have you got any friends? I bet you have, haven't you? I can't put up with anyone for more than a couple of hours. That is absolutely true, that is. After a couple of hours, oh, shut up. Are you like that? That's why I'm sitting here on my own. I can't put up with long-term relationships. I never had one. I think I was with my ex-wife for about 3 years. That was the longest relationship I had. Not when she was exed, obviously. When we exed each other. That wasn't there. For the whole length of time I was with her, about three years, I think. That was the longest relationship I've ever had. You hear these wonderful stories, and they are wonderful stories. People spending 20, 30, 40, their entire lives together. And I am jealous. I am jealous. How wonderful to be able to find your soulmate like that, isn't it? Eh? And to spend your entire life with that one person. I think that's wonderful. On the other side of the coin, when one or the other goes, that just must be absolutely devastating. Now, I won't probably have to go through that. I don't think I'll have to go through losing someone who I've had for years and years. I suppose the closest I would get to that would be my best mate or my sister. You know, I suppose. But hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully that won't happen. Anyway, going back to the story then. So this morning, I've got to church. Vivian's sitting there and we were having a little giggle. I can't remember what we were talking about before Mass started. Anyway, so the bell's rung. The altar servers have come out. And how many altar servers this morning? There were 12 of them, dear. They just kept coming. I thought they were multiplying in the sacristy as they were coming out. More and more altar people coming out. And eventually, we've got a learner priest there at the moment who's very nice. And this priest appears. Well, I've never seen him before. And he's coming round and he's gone I thought, okay, you're going to be an old-fashioned one. That's good for me. And he's talking away. And then suddenly, Vivian nudged me. She goes like that. Here. Or she just put her head down like that, Vivian. I love Vivian. She's a very, very good friend of mine. She's a proper Catholic. She don't like people mucking around. She likes it all done properly. And if something's not done properly, I get, did you see that, Chris? They got the reading wrong again. And she's like that. She's great, Vivian, great. Anyway, she's put her head down like that over me. She said, look, he's got an earring. And he had a little diamond earring in. The priest had a diamond earring in one ear. Anyway, so the Mass went on. It was a bit elongated today. He went on a bit. But that's okay, you know, that's all right. It was nice, as always. He seemed quite pleasant enough. And he was singing all the time. Usually at a Catholic Mass, you know, you either sing bits of it. Some priests sing a lot of it. I've heard the entire gospel sung before. So he was singing bits and pieces, and I know where to sing back, and so that's good. And then end of the Mass came, and off they went, and there were 3 of them all come over to Vivian. Yes, did you see he had an earring and all this? Did you see he had an earring? And I said to Vivian, Vivian, the earring, do you want me to tell him or will you? And she laughed. She says, don't you dare come in an earring next week. Because I think Vivian knows about me. I get that opinion. But I'm not sure the others do. And outside, someone else said, did you see the priest had an earring? I said, yeah. I said, I did. Do you think I should wear mine this week? And this woman killed herself laughing. So it was all very exciting. The priest had an earring. How exciting is that little shiny thing? I think it was actually a diamond or something like that. Huh? I'm not one for jewellery at all. As you can see, I've never had a thing with jewellery. I don't understand it really, why you would want to spend, I don't know, 50 quid or 50,000 quid on a bit of metal hanging round your neck. I mean, what's all that about? What is all that about? It doesn't do anything. It's not like my webcam I showed you earlier. You plug it in and it does something, doesn't it? Stuff in here, everything in here, it all does something. Look at these headphones. You put them on your head, hello, and you can hear sound through them. You can't do that with a ring or a brooch, can you? Very, very strange people. Shania says 12 servers. We have 2, me being one of them. There were 12. The boy, I think he looks like the head altar boy. Who, quite honestly, sometimes I think, oh, you look like you've been out. Sometimes he's got all his hair done nice. The smalling, his face was all a bit puffy. His hair was all over the place. And I think they go out. I think he'd been out up all night playing computer games or something. I don't know if he's old enough. He's probably, I reckon he's probably about 18, the head altar boy. But he looked like he'd been out all night tonight. Last night. He wasn't looking his best at all. But we have girls and boys, of course. And there were 12 of them, yeah. Sometimes 6. So I assume there can't be a rotor or anything like that going on there. I think they just turn up and do it. Jennifer says, my dad just passed away 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry to hear that, Jennifer. Married to my stepmother for 31 years. I don't know how she's able to cope. Makes me not want to get involved with anyone. I don't know if I could go on without my love like that. Well, there's for and there's against, isn't there, Jennifer? And I'm sorry you've lost your father. Very sorry you've lost your father. Difficult for you. Really is. As you know, I've lost both my mother and father. I walk around the house talking to them all the time, especially at night. Just before I go to sleep, I talk to them. I mean out loud. As I'm talking to you now, I talk to my mother and father. Usually more of my mother than my father. I do talk to them. Yeah. So I'm sorry to hear that. If you was to find a soulmate, I think that period of your life, which could go on for years and years and years, and you would be so happy. But there is that bit at the end, you know, whoever goes first, the other one's got to cope with it. You know, there's fors and there's againsts for both of those, isn't there? Yeah. On one hand, I'm very, the word isn't jealous. I'm very hopeful, perhaps, that I would find someone to spend the rest of my life with. But if they go first, having to cope with that loss is very difficult as well. But for a long period of your life, you could be very happy and maybe only live yourself another couple of weeks, couple of years, whatever, after they have died anyway. So it's you know, it's difficult. But please, Jennifer, accept, I'm sure everyone on here, often you say something like that, you'll start getting messages from people now, you know, wishing you the best in that, my love. All right? Let's just sorry, let me just scroll down a little bit. 1 second. Mike says, I wouldn't be able to handle a long-term relationship. He isn't. Mike says he wouldn't be able to handle a long-term relationship. He's too much of a flirt to settle down and have a long-term relationship that lasts longer than a few years. Is that right, Mark? Hello to Becky. Welcome to the show, Becky. I hope you're well. There we go. Good. So here's our little Disney news, boys and girls. Look at this. Here are, in this morning's Sun, here are the 3 words that Disney employees are never allowed to say. Now, I've never heard of this before. So here's the story. It says, Disney is the most magical place in the world for children and adults. And I concur with it. I am verifying that. Verification from Chris Reardon of United Kingdom Talk that Disney is indeed the most magical place in the world for children and adults. I am still a child, as you well know. But a magical kingdom must abide by some strict rules to ensure all visitors believe that they are in a fairy tale world. This is in this morning's Sun. The Disney actors are not allowed to say, I don't know, under any circumstances. Speaking to Pop Sugar, a former Disney employee explained, if a guest asks you a question, you always have to have an answer. No exceptions. If you don't know, find out, but never say you don't know. If it's a silly question, make up a silly answer. Staff members have to come up with an answer quickly. So next time you're at Disneyland, perhaps try and coax a funny answer from Cinderella. Oh, Cinderella. Here we go. It goes on. The former employee says, if a child asks you what Tinkerbell eats before her flight across the Magic Kingdom during the fireworks, you better come up with an answer quickly. Answer is very tiny apples. Tinkerbell, before she flies from the Magic Castle, eats very tiny apples. It goes on. At least it means that if you ever ask Goofy where the loos are, you know You are in safe hands. Well, that's an easy one. Where are the toilets, please? Well, you can just point, can't you? Here are some more secrets from Disney employees. Did you know that they can also hand out free hotel upgrades to guests in random acts of kindness? Isn't that fantastic? So there you go. There are certain things that Disney employees are not allowed to say. And they've got other secrets as well. It's the happiest place on earth that is visited by over 20 million people each year. But despite it being one of the most photographed attractions, Walt Disney World in Florida still has its fair share of secrets, and some may surprise you. Did you know, for example, that the Beatles signed the documents that officially broke up the group while staying at Disney World's Polynesia Resort in 1974? And have you heard that the scent of freshly baked cookies used to be pumped onto Main Street but was later ditched as the scent was deemed to be too artificial? I'm sure I remember that. Because you go along some of those shops along Main Street at Disney in Florida. Oh, the smells. There's a sweet shop and you go in there and it's just the most wonderful smell. It really is. There are also rumours of people attempting to spread the ashes of dead people on Disney rides every year, although no one has ever been caught. It's not a bad place to be scattered, is it, Disney? In the animal kingdom, there is said to be piped chilled air on the ledge of Pride Rock to encourage lions to sit up there and pose for the perfect picture opportunity. These are all Disney secrets. Disney doesn't have to worry about electricity bills as it has its own power plant which lights up 150 tractor-trailer loads of decorations for its Christmas holiday celebrations. Now, I saw the Christmas decorations not last year but the year before, so that was 2016 at Euro Disney, where I went with my nephew and his little family. And it's beautiful. They really do it up well, but I'd like to see Florida at Christmas time and see all the decorations there. Maybe this year, I don't know. Maybe this year. Good. There are little Disney secrets there, boys and girls. Weird City Citizen. Greetings to you, sir. You've got a few people on a different YouTube chat. Oh, really? Okay, are they not on here then? Is it a different chat thing? I don't know why that is. I think all the messages come up in front of me, though. I'm pretty sure both lots come up in front of me, but within one screen there. I'm pretty sure that. All right. Mike says, my friend was there in Florida over Christmas last year. She periscoped it. Looked amazing. I would like to see the Christmas decorations over in Florida, Disney. I really would. It's been 4 years since I was there. It's about time I had another little visit to Florida Disney, actually. I just need to see if someone's here. 1 second. I should be able to see. I don't think he's there. Yeah. This year, I want to. I found, and I think it's not until you get older that you can appreciate this. But I found the greatest pleasure I get, I think, is giving little people experiences that they haven't yet had. And at the moment, it's holidays. I'm taking my nephew and niece's little families to Legoland this year. One, I think, at the end of February, and the other one hasn't booked yet. So that's going to be like their birthday presents, both lots, you see. So you do it all in one hit, birthday presents this year. But that's my nephew, one of my nephews, and my niece. So we're doing Legoland. I'll take the camera with me and we'll do all that business. But the other nephew, who's going to be 21 this year, I'm not sure what to do with him. We have been to Florida, as I said at the beginning of the show 4 years ago. And he would like to go back to Florida. I haven't told him any of this yet. I had to just check that he wasn't there. My other nephew's watching at the moment, so we have been to Florida. But I think he also wants to go to Vegas. So I'm not sure which one to do. So I'm having a little think about that. But I get enormous amount of pleasure out of doing things for little people Not the 20-year-old. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course the 20-year-old and the 30-year-olds. But seeing the little faces on like 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds because you've done something for them, whatever that is, whether it's bought them an ice cream or taken them round the world on a boat. The little looks on their faces. And my niece let me into a little secret the other day. I can't remember what it was I'd done, but George, one of my great nephews, said to my niece, it was something to do with a whistle. It was a wooden whistle that I'd bought. Okay, so I've got 3 great nephews now. There's Harry, who's coming up to 5. There's George, who is 5. And there's baby James, who is months, just a few months. So I've got three great nephews and 3 great nieces. There's Evie, she's 5. There's Emily, I think she's nearly 5. And there's Olivia, who is coming up to 3. So 2 of the nephews, I bought them these wooden whistles from Hamleys. When we was in Hamleys, we were doing our Christmas toy shopping in Hamleys with my best mate Ron. We go there every year and do this now. And I found wooden whistles. You put them through, and it sounds like a train. Woo, woo, blow the wood. The big square things they are. Anyway, great nephew George found this, and my niece gave it. Who got us these? Oh, Uncle Chris got them. Oh. Well, where were they? Because I hadn't wrapped them. I'd forgotten them and just left them somewhere. Oh, Chris forgot to put them under the tree, so we just brought them back in a bag. And George said, oh, he's really kind to us, isn't he? Do you know how that made me feel? And that is just the wonderful thing about doing stuff for little people. I just think it's wonderful when you see the little faces. And I do think you've got to be sort of over a certain age to sort of appreciate the appreciation you get from doing something like that, Anyway, hello to Marc, who says, I missed the show this morning. Oh, Marc, do try and stay with us. Do stay with us. Poor Vectis has man flu at the moment, don't you? He's not well at all. Poor Vectis. Oh, my word. Don't tell me you played music instead of talking. I mean, how boring would that be on your show? Dear me. Brendan says, hello, Brendan, who says, I've just noticed it says multi-stream and normal live talk. As far as I know, both lots of messages come up here. Maybe, Brendan, could you go on one stream and type in test number 1 and the other stream and type in test number 2, and I'll see if I get them both up. They should both come up here, all right? I reckon they will both come up here. And I think, I'm not quite sure. I think I've got something set up that makes it go on 2 different YouTube things, but they're different in different sort of areas of YouTube. So that's why it's on 2 things. Okay, we've got test number 1. I have received test number 1. Let's see if we get test number 2 up as well. And then we know that's both working. Hello to Mike, who says it's nice when you do things for people with little. Though this coming year, we have decided we're not going to give presents, but we're going to donate to a charity. My nan's aunties and cousins did it last year and raised about 800 quid to be split between 2 charities. Oh, that's good, isn't it? That's excellent. Well done to you. Good. Right, so that's the Disney story. Have I got anything else to tell you there? My sister was watching the show yesterday. She said it was the funniest show we've ever done yesterday. I don't know why. Adam the plumber was there, and his other half, Royston, came up here. My sister said it was a very funny show yesterday. So if you missed that one, just type into YouTube, United Kingdom Talk, Saturday the 13th of January 2018, and you'll find it there as well. Okay? All right, apparently test number 2. Hang on, Brendan Brady. Did the other test on the other stream. Fingers crossed it came through. No, it didn't. The other viewers are lost in space. Ideas for a film. No, so we don't get it on the other stream. Which is, yes. So do we leave that on there or what? I don't know. I'll have a little look at that, see if I can work out how that works. Okay? Alrighty. Let's do today's birthdays, boys and girls. It's Sunday, the 14th of January, 2017. I think we've only got about 3 birthdays today. Let's have a look. Alex Oulette in a green vest. Happy birthday to Alex Oulette today. Doesn't say how old you are. Happy birthday, Alex, sir. Romain Lopez. I think you're a DJ, aren't you, Romain? I used to be a DJ. I gave up, it was about 6 months ago now. Most of the DJing I gave up a little while ago. I just do a little bit of DJing now at Central Station on a Saturday night. So happy birthday to you, Romain. If you are a DJ, if you are, I think you are. I hope things are going well for you. All right. Christopher Nedwecki. It says you're 112 years old. I think that might be wrong there. I shall check that you are a proper profile and not someone pretending to be someone else. That happens a lot on Facebook. I noticed that. And Marc Anthony Eden is very old today at 31 years old, aren't you, Marc? Happy birthday to you all. Let's sing the song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Enjoy your birthdays, whatever you're doing. We've only got 2 hours left, and then it's the next lot tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be with you again tomorrow morning, around about 9:15 in the morning. And of course, it's my music and chat show tomorrow at 10 o'clock on uploadradio.com. Found a lot of messages here from Cesar says, 8's your sister funny. 8's. Did you? I'm not quite sure what you mean there. 8's your sister funny. Thank you, Raymond. Enjoyed the show today. We've got a little one more over there. Is it? That's yes. And there we go. And that's it today. Okay, thanks so much for joining us, boys and girls. I'm going to go downstairs and watch a bit of Netflix now. I'm watching The Travellers at the moment. I'm on Series 1 episode... I think I've just started episode 4. It's an excellent series. I keep going on about Netflix. I finished this series of The Crown, Series 2 of The Crown now, which is really, really good as well. If you've never seen The Crown, watch that from the first series, okay? At the moment, I'm watching Travellers, and my friend... Actually, my friend told me... There was another film to watch. Let's have a look. Thank you, Jerry. I think there's a private message. I'll read that when I've gone, if that's all right with you. I've lost it now. Let's have a look. Where am I? He said, try to watch this movie. It's called... Oh, that's crashed. Well, that's unusual, isn't it, for Facebook to crash on your mobile phone? Oh, by the way, Facebook is changing, isn't it? I'm not quite sure what that means for us here doing our chat show, but it remains to be seen. So I think that's happening next week sometime. Facebook is going to start changing. I'm not quite sure how that will affect me, so it remains to be seen. There we are. Let's see if I can see that now. Finders keepers. Here we are. After her family moves to a house in the country where an unspeakable crime happened years ago, a young girl is possessed by the evil she left behind. Isn't that strange and mysterious? We do like a good horror film, so I might have a look at that on Netflix tonight. I'm a great fan of Netflix now. Okay, thanks very, very much for for joining us today, and I'll see you again very soon tomorrow morning, around about 9:15. Enjoy your evening. Bye-bye now.